Hi everyone, welcome back to A Sky Full of Stars, Korona Route, Episode 3. So, in the last episode, we had some very uncomfortable and touchy movements between Akito and Korona. So, Korona was looking in Akito's room for anything that's suspicious, and it's like, well, my Oni-chan has stuff like this, and I wonder if Akito has it too. So she was looking in Akito's room, and at first she thought he was a clean person until she found some porn mags in his futon. And then when Akito found out about it, he tries to take it back for Korona. It's like, well, this is for Oman Champ. He accidentally almost falls on top of Korona, and Korona pushes it the wrong way by asking for a kiss, and then Akito deceives Korona by using his finger as his lips for Korona. So they're both kind of sorry for what happened, and now they want to go talk more, but it looks more like a date. So he takes Korona to Harbor Town instead of his own room. So let's see how it goes from here with all these shops and where he's going to take Korona. So Korona's like, well, that was good. So to be honest, the restaurant had been a little classy for me. And Korona seems to be used to eating this kind of food anyways. Well, I guess this is what it means to be from a rich family. And I wonder how rich are the Kusukabes? Well, I couldn't help sighing at the thought. Well then, so shall we move on to the next location? Okay. So I thought we could go to the planetarium next. What do you think? So is this what you want to do? So even though he's going to say yes, it's like, well, I didn't think that we were going to do this today. Korona has been here before, but it would be my first time. Okay. So Orihime had invited me to come, but our schedules never seemed to line up and we never got the chance. So I'm going to go with Korona instead. So we're checking the time schedules outside, and there's one show every hour, and it looks like they relate between... Okay, so they rotate between the two shows. So what options do you have? So what's show 1 about and what's show 2 about? Well, there's no way to know which is better without watching them. So let's just go to the one that's coming up. So luckily, the next show is starting soon. So we bought tickets and went to browse the gift shop until then. So Korona grabs my hand and pulls me along. And somehow things have settled into her leading again. Okay, so they're inside. So after entering the gates or the dome, my voice just slipped out unconsciously. So the whole ceiling overhead would turn into space, and the rustic-looking projector would give birth to countless stars. And it's making Korona excited. So it sure looks impressive. Okay, so let's have a seat. She led the way to the seats we chosen when we bought the tickets. And the seats are nice and soft, and they're quite comfortable. So wait, which one?
倒すか起こすかだけで真ん中はないから気をつけて。
Okay. So this is way different than the seats on a train or a bus. So like, well, I didn't know that these seats could recline. So everything is brand new to me. So Korona seems to be enjoying surprising me, so she kept showing me all the sorts of things. So Korona knows that, well, this must be Akito's first time, so I'm going to show him all the cool things that you can do being inside the planetarium.
前来た時に姫ちゃんが教えてくれたんだ。
And actually, Hime-chan, so Orihime, told me about this. So I'm just passing it on to you.
例えばあれ、でっかいやつ。なんでも超古い骨董品みたいな機械らしいよ。
So it sure looks old. So it looked like an antique. So projectors these days are compact and stylish, but this one looks like something straight out of industrial age. Well, it does look fancy, and I'm sure this is much more interesting to see than the new projectors, which are small. And they're probably the size of, well, anyways, they look boxy, and nothing to be all amazed about.
古くても性能はいいんだって。詳しいことはコロナもよくわかんないけど。
So I think the show's about to start. So one of the employees has come out and is explaining some of the safety rules. So don't get up, stay seated. Well, I'm not sure. And now the lights dim to black, causing the emergency exit lights to seem excessively bright. So I think it's like, well, if you have any problems, if you don't feel comfortable and you want to leave, this is how you evacuate or leave the theater or the planetarium. So the green exit sign is really distracting.
始まったらちゃんと消えるよ。
Oh, that's good. And finally, the show is about to start.
ただいまより冬季特別プログラム恋の神話のシンフォニーをお送りします。
So appropriate for the atmosphere of Harbor Town, this seems to be a program ahead or aimed for couples. And it's probably going to be a bunch of mushy love stories and legends about the stars. And glancing around, I realized that the audience is made up of couples. And I suppose we probably looked like just another one of them. That's true.
皆さんこんにちは。月浦美琴です。今日は素敵な神話の世界へご案内したいと思います。
月浦美琴のやつなんだ。
Wait, it's that person? So do you know her?
昔のアイドルかなんかだったと思うよ。超綺麗なの。
I see. And unfortunately, I don't know much about the entertainment world, so I never heard the name before.
では早速星の世界に旅立ちましょう。ミュージックスタート。
And the narration seems to draw you as light background music begins to play. And it seems a little much for enjoying the graceful night sky.
ちょうど季節は冬。星たちもより一層輝きを増していきます。澄んだ空気に天高く立ち上っていく白い息。そんな時、あなたの隣には誰がいますか？家族かな？それとも兄弟？もしかすると恋人だったりして。
Hold on, went a little fast, so let's just go back.
澄んだ空気に天高く立ち上っていく白い息。その先には瞬く星たちが夜空を彩っています。
Okay.
今、星を見上げながらその人と手をつないでみてください。
So I hadn't expected that. And I glance over to Korona, who looks just as surprised as I am.
どうしよう。
So what are we supposed to do? Well, I'm sure it's fine if we don't do it. But they might stand out. So it's not like this is any sort of requirement to do what the narration says.
秋に。
But it looks like Korona wants to do it.
まあ、こういうのはノリだよ、ノリ。
There you go. So Korona quickly reaches out her hand and grabs mine. So we have to go along with the program.
さっきまで手をつないでたじゃん。それに恋人に限定してるわけでもないんだし。
Okay? Well, that's true. So I guess I'm just thinking about it too much. So Korona is right. So holding hands in the planetarium isn't a big deal.
秋には普通にしてればいいよ。でもコロナは違うから恋人のつもりで握ってるから。
So Korona isn't trying to force anything on me. But at the same time, there's nobody who could change her own feelings. Maybe I've been a little bit careless. So consider that as I stared at Korona's profile.
緊張する。
So her last comment had been so determined, but now she seems hesitant. And I realized, so I relaxed at that. So you shouldn't force yourself so much.
だって。
But Korona is trying to look tough on the outside, so she really is giving this her best effort. And seeing her trying so hard is kind of cute, and I want to give something back in return. So Korona, and I squeeze her hand tightly, or lightly. Her eyes seem to be asking if I am really okay with this. I didn't say anything in response. Instead, I just gave her another light squeeze.
皆さん、手はつなぎましたか？つなぐ相手のいない方は、そうですね。私と手をつなぎましょう。はい、どうぞ。なかなか大人気ですね。私もまだまだ捨てたもんじゃないみたいです。
So that drew some laughter from the audience, and neither one of them or one of us laughed, however. So Korona seems too preoccupied with what is going on to enjoy this show. And I am too busy worried about her to concentrate.
では、全員つないだところで神話の旅にレッツゴー。
So the projector whirls to life and the stars begin to move as if being fast forwarded. So we should have been soaring off into a world of stars at the moment, but we are not.
秋に。
And before long, I hear Korona whisper something besides me.
大好き。
So I would just pretend that I hadn't heard that. So I could not ignore it, however. So he knows what Korona says. And with these words, my entire mind is filled with nothing but thoughts of Korona. Okay, so now they're outside. So after the show ends, we stop by the gift shop once more. And it's already after 3 o'clock when we finally stepped back outside. And the winter sun is already beginning to dip into the western sky, so evening would be here soon.
いっぱい堪能しちゃったね。
And it seems that Korona enjoyed the show. So the planetarium is better than I had imagined.
秋に行ってば終わっても なかなか立ち上がろうとしないんだもん。どうしようかと思っちゃったよ。
So I wonder what happened. Why, sorry. So I got caught up in the show. Okay. So I severely underestimated the show. I thought it'd be just some flashy mush aimed at couples, but it had been great. So the narration is nice, and the activities that we are to do as part of the show was nice too.
ああいうのも悪くないよね。
So she made no reference to the hand holding. Yeah, well, it is really interesting.
この後はどうするの？
So, are they going to watch the other show that's going to play? So, we both had a strange sense of satisfaction, like something had been completed. So, we should get going soon. If we're out too late, your parents will start to worry. Well, I'm sure they might have a bit more time before it's time for Korona to show up at our house.
コロナ、そんなに子供かな？
And it makes Korona feel kind of sad. Well, no, I don't mean it like that. It's like, well, I'm trying to make sure you're okay because I'm sure your parents are really strict, and I'm sure Akito does not want to deal with the parents when it comes to, well, you're the one that got Korona to stay past our curfew. And remember, it was 8 p.m. sharp. So right now, it's really important time for you. So that's why everybody is worried about you.
アキ兄も？
Well, of course. So even me. So the fact that you're going to take this entrance exam soon, and we want you to do well so that you will pass and get into Meiko Academy.
じゃあ、今日のデートも。
So an attempt at cheering up somebody with a big test coming up. So I could almost feel the disappointment emanating from her. Well, that's not quite it. So, that's not all, or the only reason I brought you here. So, I heard you before, and it's true that my main goal is to try to cheer you up. So, the fact that, I was on top of you, almost, and that fake kiss. But that's not the only reason. I realized that you don't like being treated like a kid anymore. So I'm trying to show you that I'm not treating you like a kid. Well, I'm not really good at this sort of thing, so I don't know if it works. But I really was trying, though. So please cheer up. I want you to do well on your test. Okay, so here's my present to you. So I hand her a package, complete with a ribbon.
これって、
So what's this? I wanted to give you something that would last. And I couldn't think of what it should be, but I found something back at the planetarium when I saw it, so I knew that it would be perfect as a gift.
ありがとう、アキ兄。
So she took it cautiously, as if it's something precious.
開けてみていい？
So can I open it now? Oh, go on ahead. And before Korona undoes the wrapping,
これって本？
okay. Okay, so he bought a book, and it's basically an assortment of pictures from the Hubble Space Telescope, so HST.
へえ。
So the cover is an image of the Crab Nebula, and the wide gradation of color conveyed from the strangeness of unknown space.
望遠鏡で見るようなのとは全然違うんだね。
So yeah, so it's a space telescope, and this is, so after all, it's on a whole different level than a normal telescope, or a personal telescope. And not even the National Astronomical Observatory of Japan could compete with this Hubble telescope. But it doesn't matter how amazing the Hubble telescope has been. I just wanted to show you that there's more out there than you know. And there's even more out there than what the Hubble could cover. Well, I wasn't trying to show off how great this telescope is. And even without throwing or knowing about it, there is a whole other world out there beyond what could be seen. So the first time I looked at the moon through a telescope, I was moved. And since then, I've seen all sorts of things in the heavens with my own eyes, and I lost count of how many times I felt that way. And there are still things left that will make me feel the same, so this is one of those things. And now that the Hubble has been announced decommissioned, or it's about to be, there are parts of space that we will no longer be able to see. So the successor, I remember mentioning this in the Korona Route, so the James Webb Telescope has come into operation, but it was only able to detect infrared light. And unlike the Hubble, it's unable to take images in the range of light visible to the human eye. And there will no longer be a telescope capable of seeing what the Hubble Space Telescope had seen. And might never be again. So she starts flipping through the pages, and they're filled with colorful images of astronomical phenomena. And overflowing with color and light, they are unlike anything else. So there are galaxies, nebulas, and supernova explosions. And faint light from the stars tens of thousands of light years away. The Hubble has shown all sorts of truths about the universe. So there are some things that you can see and others that you can't. And the Hubble could see more than one kind of light. So outside the visible spectrum, it could also take images in ultraviolet and near-infrared ranges. Well, that's right. So the other two are outside of the visible range of the human eye. And most of the images taken by the Hubble telescope are within the visible spectrum, but it's taken plenty of ultraviolet and infrared images too. Well, the images are representatives that have color added to them to show you the kinds that it would look like. No, well, they're real. So all of that is actually up there. So looking at something that human eyes can't see, isn't that kind of exciting? Yeah, says Korona. So Hubble had left an enormous impact on the world of astronomy. And it's sad that its time is over, but we would continue moving forward. So technology would continue to improve, and eventually we would reach parts of space that even the Hubble could not have taken us. So the passionate, steady progress forward into the unknown, that is something wonderful. So Korona, I know that you still don't know much about astronomy. But this is what is out there, deep in space. So I want you to see how amazing it could be for yourself. And I'm not sure if I've been able to properly express myself. And I wonder what Korona, or how she's feeling. So whenever you take a break from your studies, I would happy if you would flip through this book and think about what space has to offer.
りがとう、ハッキニ。最高のプレゼントだよ。
Well, don't thank me, so thank the stars. Well, sorry, I thought that would sound pretty cool. And I tried to make a little joke at the end. But after actually saying it out loud, I am a little bit embarrassed.
そういうの言わなければ、ハッキニかっこいいって終われたのに。でも、本当にかっこよかったよ。コロナ、キュンってしちゃった。
So, you think you'll be able to focus on your studies now? So Korona gives me a bright, beaming smile.
あのね、ハッキニ。迷惑かもしんないけど、また勉強しに行っていいかな。
Of course. So, you're welcome anytime.
やった。
So our relationship has been strained recently, but it seems to be back to normal. And I'm sure she would be able to focus on her studies again. So I could tell by the way she smiles at me.
こんにちは。
Okay, so I think this is the next day, and Hinami's here. So if I remember about the Hubble Space Telescope, the problem is that it's reached its limits. So they've already zoomed out as far as they can, and that's pretty much all they can see. So that's why the new James Webb Telescope is being built, so that they can go even further and see more things beyond the limits of the Hubble Space Telescope. But obviously, that itself has limitations. And if I remember from my last reading, it's like NASA wants to keep both the Hubble Space and the James Webb both in operation for a while. And then I think once the James Webb Telescope is fully built out and ready to go, they will decommission the Hubble Space Telescope. And we'll stick with the James Webb Telescope. So anyways, going back to the story.
おー、ひなみいらっしゃい。上がって上がって。
Okay, so it's still the same day.
お邪魔します。適当なとこ座っていいから、今お茶とお菓子持ってくるね。
Okay, so it's some other day and Korona's in her room with Hinami.
お構いなく。
Hinami Yamada. I call her Hinami. So she's a good friend of mine.
はいはい、そこ奥から手伝って。よいしょ。
So I sat next to the tray in the middle of the carpet and we sat down on either side of it.
ミルクティーだけどよかったかな。いいけど。コロナどうしたの？何が？以前は遊びに来ても緑茶かほうじ茶しか出てこなかった。
So what got you to change your mind? So you're offering me something that's not the usual.
そうかな。玄米茶の時もあったと思うけど。
Really? Says Korona.
否定はしない。でも紅茶。しかもミルクティーが出てきたことはない。何があったの？名工の先輩に美味しいミルクティーの入れ方を教えてもらったのです。
So is it Honoka or Hime? It's one of those two. So when I asked Hime about it, Yoshi had found some time to teach me. So I think it's both. So Honoka and Orihime. And I figured if I'm going to be a student at Miko Academy, I need to know how to make more refined tea.
コロナはすっかり名工っ子だね。
And once Orihime graduates, pretty soon, Korona can take over and... Well, I'm not sure how close Korona is when it comes to acting like Orihime.
形から入るタイプなので。
And I don't know why Korona's already practicing early because we don't know if she passed her exam yet. So...
おいしい。飲み方もあるんだよ。こうやって。
So I tried copying Hime's more polished way of drinking. So we gotta drink like Orihime and her elegant, proper way of drinking tea. Well, I'm nowhere near her level yet, but someday I will be as refined as her.
優雅だね。見た目だけなら囚われの令状みたい。
令状はいいけど、なんで囚われてるのさ。
Well, I think Korona does it poorly, and that's why Hinami sees Korona in a different way. It's like, you look like an imprisoned woman.
受験という名の牢獄に囚われているのです。
Okay?
なるほどね。
Well, I know. However, so Hinami is a bit odd, and I can't understand what she's thinking. Since she's quick-witted, though she is always saying interesting things. She seems different than the other girls our age, which is why we become friends. Okay?
それで話って何？わざわざ日曜に呼ぶんだからそれなりに大事な話だと思ってるんだけど。
実はひなみんにぜひ見せてあげたいものがあってね。じゃーん、これ宇宙の写真集だよ。
So the reason I brought you here is because I want to show you this book. So the photos of that are taken by the Hubble Space.
はあ。
Her voice is a bit soft, but I could tell she's still impressed. And with Hinamin, you had to judge her reaction based at the sparkle in her eyes rather than the tone of her voice. So even though she sounds stoic and yeah, this is a book, oh, this is a good book, her eyes speak otherwise.
何これ？表紙からしてすごいんだけど。
So it is amazing.
これはカニ星雲だよ。
カニ星雲。何？
So wait, what's the Crab Nebula? So I figured she would not know. And to be fair, I don't really know what it is either. So yes, I'm in the same boat as you.
カニ星雲はね、超新星爆発の残骸っていう。
もしかしてコロナもよく知らない？
And Korona tries to act like she's the expert. Like, well, it's this, that, and obviously Hinami can sense that, well, Korona doesn't know.
しょうがないじゃない。この本昨日もらったばっかなんだもん。
Well, it's true. So Akini has given it to me yesterday.
それってもしかして
愛しのアキニーにもらっちゃった。昨日ハーバータウンでデートしてきたんだよ。
信じられない。いつの間にそんな関係に？
So does Hinami know Akito? Or, she met him before? Because it doesn't look like it.
恋は一瞬だよ、ひなみん。
So it seems like Hinami already knows Akito, but they haven't met yet, so it's kind of odd. So it really had been only an instant. And never been more than a little sister to Akini, so he always treat me like a child. And I thought it would be at least another 2 years before I got a chance to go on a date with him.
きっとコロナの勘違い。
違うもん。デートだよって言ってくれたもん。
Hadn't he? So now that I think about it, I wasn't sure that he had ever actually called it that. So, even though it was kind of like a date, I don't think Akini sees it as a date. So I just got overly excited and decided that it's what it was on my own.
とにかくデートなの。
But I'll say it is a date. So he hadn't corrected me when I called it a date. So yeah, it must be a date. Definitely, yeah. So it is a date.
デートしてこの本をもらったんだ。
And you got a book in return. Okay.
アキニーはチョイスが大人だよね。普通小物とかアクセサリーくれたりするのに。
Well, I'm sure for Korona, a book is better because it's something that she'll enjoy versus expensive jewelry or accessories.
空見先輩はも ものの分かった人だから。
So Hinami had come to the last observation party, so she knows who he is. Okay, so they met at, or she saw him at the first light event that was held last Christmas. And they never actually spoke, but she knows all about him from everything that I told her.
アキ兄はセンスがいいんだよ、センスが。
そのセンスのいい空見先輩がどうしてコロナみたいなチンチクリンを。
So I wonder why he would pick you if he has good sense. So you're small and...
ヒカリみたいな言い方するな。どうせコロナはチンチクリンですよ。背もちっこいし、おっぱいもないし。
お互い頑張ろう。
So I like how Hinami turns this into like, well, you're small, you look like a little kid compared to other people. But then again, I'm the same, so I guess I have a lot to learn from you as well. So I think we need to work together on this. So how to look more adult-like, more mature than what we look like now.
そうだね。
And that's not something Korona enjoys. So thanks to Hinami, I felt like a deflated balloon. She didn't even have any more mean intentions. So, well, I could bring myself to get angry at her, or I couldn't.
それにしてもこの写真集かっこいい。
So, I'm sure Korona thinks that Hinami doesn't understand her problem. It's like, well, I want to look more like an adult, like Pikarin with their nice body. And comparing is not the best thing to do. So anyways, going to the book.
肉眼では見えない暗黒物質を捉えるとは。この重力レンズの歪み、物理法則を超越する高次元のエネルギーを感じる。
So she's really getting into this stuff. And I wonder if Hinami's reading the book or she's just looking at the pictures and coming up with all these interesting thoughts. Well, that's because she could not resist the draw of the unknown. And when I taken her with me to the observation party on Christmas Eve, it's like she had an awakening. And I felt like she'd gone forth from a good friend to a really close friend that night as well.
ねえ、ひなみ、写真集を見るのもいいけど、コロナの話も聞いてよ。
So what does Korona have to say?
これを貸してくれたら聞く。
So, let me borrow this first.
さすがにそれは無理。コロナの宝物だもん。
Well, I can't.
じゃあ今度ハーバータウンに付き合って同じの買ってくるから。
So, can I have another copy?
それならいいよ。お母さんうるさいからあんまり長く遊べないけど。
Okay.
コロナのお母さんはソロモン王より恐ろしい。
ソロモン王？何それ？
コロナは知らない方がいい。知ったら後戻りできないから。
Well, if Hinami doesn't want Korona to know, then she should not bring it up. Well, I didn't really get it, but it's really, or probably better, not to dig any deeper.
それよりもアキニーとのデートについてだよ。
But anyways, I want to tell you about my date with Akini.
具体的に何をしたの？
ハーバータウンでご飯食べたでしょ。それからプラネタリウム見たでしょ。最後にこの写真集をプレゼントしてもらった。
And while it's exciting for Korona, I'm sure for Hinami's like, that's it?
それだけ？
There you go.
それだけだよ、もう。
Well, yeah, so I want you to know about it. Well, I'm aware of the fact that it didn't seem like much when you just listed the things that we did. But Akini had been with me the whole time and we'd talked about all sorts of things. And I had him all to myself.
チューはしてもらわなかったの？
So what about a kiss?
チューはさすがにまだ早いよ。
でもこの前確か。
聞こえません。
So I think Hinami's poking holes at Korona's problems like, well, you say it's a date, but it doesn't really seem like it. So I told Hinami about all my failed attempts at kissing Akini. So how she is probably expecting it to happen, or now.
キスはしなかったけど、手は繋いだもん。
So we went as far as holding hands.
それに、
それに？
これ以上はひなみにだって言えないよ。
I started shifting from side to side, a small war going on inside me. So many important things had happened, and remembered every single detail. And even the part where I secretly told Akini that I loved him.
結局私に何をしてほしいの？
So, how can I help you? Hinami is almost grumbling now, a blank look on her face.
一緒にいて。一人でいるとうきゃーってなっちゃうから。
So, can you accompany me? Because I'm nervous and I'm not sure how to say it. It's like I might get crazy and lose my confidence.
わかった。いいよ。隣にいてあげる。
Okay. Well, I don't know why, but I felt like I could relax when Hinami is around. And she wasn't mean to me like my Oni-chan, and she didn't get me upset like my mom always did. And I didn't make my chest feel tight like when I was around Akini either.
コロナ、
何？
頑張ってね。
So, good luck. And she never took her eyes off the photo album, but she is rooting for me nonetheless.
ありがとね、ひなみ。
And even if it's only one person, there's somebody cheering me on. And I felt like even that is enough to give somebody strength. So how did Akini feel? And I wish I could have been his strength when he was all alone. But I just been a child who could not do anything.
もう今は違うよ。
But that's past.
コロナは逃げない。アキニを一人になんかしない。
So Hinami just stares at me as I made my declaration.
コロナ、ちょっと顔怖い。
いいじゃん別に。
コロナは笑ってた方が可愛いよ。
So I like it when you smile.
知ってる。
So I turned towards the mirror in the corner and tried to smile. So like this. So I hope it's natural and not forced. No, it should be more like this. So now she's forcing it. And I wonder what Akini would think the next time he saw me. So will he finally see me as a girl? And I wish he would look at me and see somebody he wanted to date.
おー、スターバースト銀河、宇宙の風を感じる。
And I think Hinami's going crazy, so she's relating Korona's attempt at getting closer to Akini or Akito with all these different phenomenon in astronomy. So Hinami is completely absorbed in the mysteries of the universe. But that just meant that I had somebody to talk to about it all.
ひなみん、ミルクティーのおかわりいる？
いる。
Okay. I added a little bit extra sugar as if to savor this wonderful moment. So just me, Hinami, and Akini's gift. And it was a nice breather from my studies. And I want to enjoy it a little bit more. Okay, so I think it's been a few days, and we have Kotaro. So I'm sure Korona wanted to be the person to help Akito way in the beginning, a long time ago, but because of Korona's mom, Korona couldn't really do anything, and it ends up being Sai and Hikari who took care of Akito. Well, actually mostly Sai because Hikari left for some time. Okay, just wait a minute. So, I'll play with you when I'm done sweeping. So I gotta do my work. So I waited until there are no customers and swept up the outside of the store. I swept the area in front of the store. I cleaned up any trash between the store and the station and made everything look as nice as I could. So cleanup like this is supposedly linked to our continued good business. So it means that there are a lot of customers who came in and out of the store, and I'm sure at a minimum they bought something coming in or going out. So Korona's not the only one. Maybe I should start thinking about exams too. So yeah, I'm supposed to study after I pass my own exams. So I'm a first year and didn't have to worry yet, but the third years at Hoshidaiichi are right in the middle of their exam hell. So all those entrance exams for college. Well, except for the escalator school at Mako Academy, the other 5 schools of the 6 Stars Club are also in chaos. So that also includes Saya's Stays and Girls Academy. And because of this and other things, the 6 Stars Club is on hiatus. Well, those of us not taking exams will just have to do our own thing for a while. Well, Orihime is supposed to be playing something though. And she had called me out to help, but I had to work, so I declined. But saying I had to work is just an excuse. So what does Akito want to do instead? Because I'm sure his work is not that busy per his remarks. So if I was working on something, or if I was working downstairs, Korona would feel safe while we studied.
空見くん、清掃ご苦労様。しばらく休憩入っていいからね。
Okay, so time for your break. Got it. I took off the apron and took a seat.
そうだ。コロナちゃんに甘いものでも持って行ってあげたらどうだい？勉強してると糖分が欲しくなるってテレビでやってたよ。
So is Korona here today? Okay, well I'll take her some kind of dessert. So I decided to take her something light that would not upset her stomach. So something that she can enjoy. Okay, so Korona's here. How's it going? I'm nervous to talk to her at first. So after Harbor Town, things should have gotten back to how they were before, but somehow I still didn't feel right about it at all. No, don't get up. So just stay seated. Don't worry, I'm just coming in. I stopped Korona as she tries to jump up happily. Well, I knew she was about to jump up to help me, or onto me.
じゃあこのままで。
Okay, sit down. So you must be tired from studying, so why don't you take a break?
それじゃあせっかくだし休憩しようかな。
Okay, I'll take a break. She cracks her neck and puts down her pencil.
秋にバイトは？
Oh, so I'm also on break, so I'll go back down afterwards.
コロナもそれまでおやすみ。
And just like this, she collapses backwards. She lays back and uses my folded up futon like a cushion.
秋にたまにはお布団干した方がいいよ。
Oh, by the way, so you should air out your futon at some point. So even though Korona admires Akito's smell in the futon, it's like, well, you should still keep it clean at some point. And she did talk about the last time she was here all alone. Well, does it feel damp or something?
ちょっぴり
A little bit. She says it teasingly, not in a mean way.
でもコロナはこういうのもありかな。秋にの匂いがする。
There you go. She rolls around and buries her face in my futon mattress. Come on, so don't do that.
どうして？コロナお化粧とかしてないよ。すっぴんだよ。
So you're afraid that my cosmetics is going to rub on your futon? It's going to ruin your smell? Well, I know that, so you're not wearing any makeup. And I'm not worried about getting makeup on my futon anyways. I can just wash it afterwards. But if a girl like Korona does that, I would not be able to help but notice her. So I will get Korona's smell and it's going to bother me a lot. So, don't you think boys smell bad?
別に嫌じゃないけどな。
No. And plus, I have to deal with my Oni-chan's smell, which is worse. So his basketball sweat, or sweat from playing basketball. Well, I said, don't smell it.
わかった。じゃあ秋にから直接嗅ぐ。ドカーン。
So Korona goes right at Akito. Hey, don't be so rough. I didn't used to be bothered by Korona's hugs, but it's still a little embarrassing now.
大好き。
So he still remembers Korona's words at the planetarium. So after hearing her confession, I had not been able to act normal anymore. Well, I had been the one who asked Korona to go back to our normal relationship for the sake of the tests, but I'm the one who was unable to go back. So even I'm having trouble.
秋にもしかしてふざけすぎて怒っちゃった？
So no, I'm not. Well, don't worry. Well, it's not Korona's fault. It's mine.
じゃあ改めてと言いたいところだけど、なんか違うか。
Well, this kind of thing is hard without momentum, though. But I'm pretty sure Korona is in the mood. So the reason Korona wants a kiss is because of momentum, too. And the confession at the planetarium would not have happened without the atmosphere of the place. So now that we are both here and calm, so just what would develop?
ねえ秋に、もしかしてちょっと疲れてる？
No, that's not what it is.
今日はなんだか変だよ。
So acting kind of strange today, and Korona can sense it. Well, I know that better than anyone. Her eyes, genuinely worried for me, makes me feel guilty. I'm fine. I'm not tired. Well, I had to get it together, and lying to Korona is not going to work. So I told myself that, and shows her my normal smile. So having a smile, okay, so he turns it back to Korona. It's like, are you tired? I brought you some sweets, so eat up and get your energy back.
スイーツ？
And that works. So it's a pudding with black sugar and soybean powder.
食べる！
Okay, I'll take it. And she's instantly happier. And it seems like girls really did like sweets.
秋に食べさせて。
So I want you to feed me. She leans her body lazily on mine and begs. Oh, so... Okay, so you're not ladylike.
食べさせて。
Well, feed me. Oh, you're so spoiled.
いいもん だけは子供でも。
So Korona is going to act spoiled like this, then I would treat her like I always do. Okay, so hold still. I tried to take back control of the situation. I'm just bringing her dessert to give her a break from study. So I took the lid off the pudding and scooped up a spoonful. Okay. So I feed the spoon into her wide open mouth. Korona, who is normally hyperactive, is showing a moment of calmness, and pleasure washes over her relaxed face.
溶ける。
Hey, you can't melt.
でも。
So she relaxed even more, leaning into me. And when our skin touch, increasing our closeness, I somehow feel myself getting excited. Well, I don't know whether or not she felt the same, but I'm getting a little uncomfortable.
おかわり。
Well, it's not safe if you don't sit up.
平気平気。さあ、もう一口お願い。
And, well, geez. So keep my cool, I feed her one more spoonful.
あー疲れたのに黒蜜がしみる。秋にもよかったらお一つどうぞ。そうだ、今度はコロナが食べさせてあげる。
Okay, so in return, I'll feed you this time. And she hops up again. She snatches the pudding from me and gets ready to feed me.
秋にも、はい、あーん。
Okay, so open your mouth wide. And I don't think Akito wants to follow the same. Well, I don't know if it's on purpose, but she is uncomfortably close to me.
ほらほら、食べてくれないと落ちちゃうよ。
Come on! So if you don't open your up, then it's gonna spill. Okay, so he joins in. So, I decide to eat rather than argue with her. So, well, I'll just go with it.
どうどう？おいしい？
So how's it? She must have been interested in my opinion, so she leans in very close when she asks the question. Wait, you're too close.
あー、ごめん。
She pulls away like it's nothing. And it seems that us being close enough to kiss didn't faze Korona.
それで、黒蜜きなこプリンどうかな？
Okay, so how was the pudding? So, did it taste good? She asks me like nothing has happened. So it's sweet. I like it.
でしょでしょ。さすがコンビニ早乙女。いいもの置いてるね。
So I'm sure the Saturn stopping by has some good stuff. Her happiness is written on her face. And I'm happy that things seem to be returning to normal. However, if I think about it, did this mean I'm starting to notice Korona in some different ways? Wait, so what am I doing? Well, I'm upset with myself still. I'm supposed to be supporting her studies, but now I'm just getting in the way. So I'm distracting her with this pudding, and it's created all of these distractions. And regardless of this, our break continues even after replenishing the sugars.
おー、これがスターバースト銀河。
So she's looking into the outer space picture album that I gave her. She must have brought it from home. So what's a starburst galaxy again?
これだよ、これ。コロナの友達に見せたら、ふわーって言ってたの。
I see. So your friend has good taste.
コロナはこれよりこっちの方が好きなんだけどね。
She turns the page and looks and shows me.
バーナードのメロペ星雲。コロナの星の近くにこんなのがあるんだね。
So it wasn't even a prominent nebula in the book. In the picture, is just a small one on the side of the Pleiades cluster page.
この前双眼鏡で見たときこんなの気づかなかった。コロナたちが見逃していたものいっぱいいっぱいあるんだろうね。
True? Yeah, that's true. So believing that something could be there even without seeing it. It's the idea of star lovers like the fact. So this had advanced the science of stargazing. In all the ways since Galileo Galilei, the history of telescopes has grown from these ideals. Okay, so it's getting dark, and it looks like Akito had a pretty long break, and now it's time for him to go back to work. So this is a good place to stop for this episode. In the next episode, we're going to see what happens next with Korona and Akito. So it looks like he does have some special feelings for Korona, but I think he's embarrassed to admit so and reveal it. And for Korona, she feels that Akito still sees her as a little kid. It's like, well, I'm not. And I wonder if Korona's going to get that out of her mind at some point. And more importantly, we know that Korona wants to go to Mako Academy, but it's like, well, the tests are going to be hard. And I know I'm being pressured by my folks at home to do well. And it's like, well, if I have too much stress, then I won't do well on the test, so I need some good place to study. And hopefully that's going to be enough to allow Korona to pass her entrance exams to Mako Academy. And I'm sure Honoka and Orihime are hoping that this is the case. So anyways, with that in mind, I'll see you later.